The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please report to the floor and take their seats. All members will report to the floor. I'm going to ask the clerk to start ringing the bell. All members will report to the floor of the House. We're about to have the morning roll call. Ring the bell one more time, Mr. Clerk. All right, we're going to have the call of the roll. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Good morning. I'm gonna ask your cooperation to let's expedite our business today. As you all know, Governor Deal yesterday issued a state of emergency in 21 counties in North Georgia that are under either a winter storm warning or an advisory today. And he has directed that all state government offices close at noon. And the offices of the House of Representatives will be closed at noon. And those of you who have to travel, as I do, in the direction of that winter weather, I think we'll want to get out of here as quickly as possible and get on the road. My understanding is the winter storm warning is in place till 3 p.m. for everyone north of a Trenton, Gainesville, Homer line, with potential for 2 to 8 inches of snow and up to a 1/4 inch of ice. And I don't have to tell you that that makes travel extremely hazardous. And we have a winter weather advisory basically for all of North Georgia, all of Georgia north of I-20. So I'm going to ask your cooperation that we get through our schedule as quickly as we can today, and then be safe traveling. I want to mention to you before we have our devotion, those of you who have served here for a long time will remember former Senator Sonny Huggins, who represented a district that's pretty much the district now, I guess, that Senator Mullis has, and he passed away last night. And those of you have already know, even new members, the value of and affection you have for seatmates, and Sonny Huggins was my seatmate for, I guess, 4 or 6 years, and so please keep his family in your prayers. Our chaplain today could not be here, and but we're honored to have one of our own to pinch hit, and I appreciate him doing that. And if you haven't heard Chairman Randy Nix lead our devotion, you're in for a real treat. Randy gave me a little background material when I introduced him. I guess it's been about 5 or 6 years ago when he last did this. And there was a paragraph from that stuck with me. And I asked Alicia Johnson yesterday afternoon to get that because I remembered it. It said that Chairman Nix has picked cotton by hand, flown supersonic jets, held both of his children when they made their first cries, and cried when his dog died. He has spent 8-hour shifts sweeping floors, managed millions of dollars, preached the gospel, and coached championship baseball and football teams. Much like the Apostle Paul, he has had little and he has had much, and he has learned to be content in either state of existence. He says that his is a story of blessings from God, holding on when he wanted to let go, and a positive belief that everything we encounter in life, both good and bad, has value and will someday prove useful. So Randy is, I have come to value so much, and he is a special friend, and I know he is to many of you. He is the chair of our Legislative and Congressional Reapportionment Committee, and has honored us by being a member of this House since 2006, and it is my distinct honor and personal privilege and pleasure to introduce as our chaplain of the day, Chairman Randy Nix. Chairman Nix.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a tremendous honor to be able to stand before you today. Alicia called me yesterday as I was driving home. I guess it was about 4 o'clock, and asked me if I would do it, and she even told me what I was to speak about. She said, "You realize this is to be about 5 minutes." Well, I don't know whether I can hit 5 minutes or not, but we're gonna give it a swing here. I was shocked, confused, bewildered as I entered heaven's door, not by the beauty of it all, nor the lights of its decor. But it was the folks in heaven who made me sputter and gasp, the thieves, the liars, the sinners, the alcoholics, and the trash. There stood the kid from 7th grade who swiped my lunch money twice. Next to him was my old neighbor who never said anything nice. Herb, who I always thought was rotting away in hell, was sitting pretty good on cloud 9, looking incredibly well. I nudged Jesus, "What's the deal? I would love to hear your take. How'd all these sinners get up here? God must have made a mistake. And why is everyone so quiet, so somber? Give me a clue." "Hush, child," he said. "They're all in shock. No one thought they'd be seeing you." I don't know about you, but every now and then I need that reality check. Sometimes I get kind of full of myself and I look at other people and I start kind of doing what this person did and said, look, I must be a little better than those folks. But sometimes I need that, and getting this call and making this, bringing this devotional this morning kind of helped me to do that. Now, I'm extremely grateful to have this opportunity, and I come up here as one of you. I come up here as one of you. I have to have my name on a ballot just like you do. I get the phone calls that you get. I get the emails that you get, so I know what you're going through. I get nervous when we have a chaplain of the day who gets up here and wants to make a political point. That kind of bothers me. Even if it's a point I agree with, I'm just not sure that this is the place to do that. This needs to be the time of the day when we are the most united, when we're lifted up, when we're inspired to serve others. The writer of Galatians in the 5th chapter, verse 13 through 15 said this: "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. If you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other." Love for our neighbor is probably the most compelling message from the Bible. Back in the Old Testament, Leviticus 19:18, the writer says, "Do not seek revenge or bear grudges, but love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus, when asked what is the greatest commandment, said this. He said, "Love the Lord with all your heart, your mind, and soul." And the second is this: to love your neighbor as yourself. So, Mr. Speaker, I took a challenge, or I gave a challenge to myself as I drove home yesterday thinking about this. I wanted to find a universal truth that I could share and that we could all agree on, that would draw us closer together as we come here to serve others. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, black or white, man or woman, I want to share something with you, and I believe that this will be something that we can all agree on, that can draw us together. It's kind of emotional, so if I get a little emotional, remember, I'm a professional, and I can get through this, okay? It's called The Last Time. From the moment you hold your baby in your arms, you will never be the same. You might long for the person you were before, when you had freedom and time and nothing in particular to worry about. You will know tiredness like you never knew it before, and days will run into days that are exactly the same, full of feeding and burping, whining and fighting, naps or lack of naps. It might seem like a never-ending cycle. But don't forget, there is a last time for everything. There will come a time when you will feed your baby for the last time. They will fall asleep on you after a long day, and it will be the last time you ever hold your sleeping child. One day you will carry them on your hip, then sit them down and never pick them up that way again. You will scrub their hair in the bath one night, and from that day on, they will want to bathe alone. They will hold your hand to cross the road, then never reach for it again. They will creep into your room at midnight for cuddles, and it'll be the last time you ever wake for this. One afternoon, you will sing the wheels on the bus and do all the actions. Then you'll never sing that song with them again. They will kiss you goodbye at the school gate. The next day, they will ask to walk to the gate alone. You will read a final bedtime story and wipe your last dirty face. They will one day run to you with arms raised for the last time. The thing is, you won't even know when it's the last time until there are no more times. And even then, it will take you a while to realize. So while you're living in these times, remember there are only so many of them. And when they are gone, you will yearn for just one more day of them for one last time. Now that's kind of sad, isn't it? And it's emotional, and it draws you in. But just because it's the last time doesn't have to be sad. I remember a story that Mom's Maybelline told. Does anybody remember Mom's Maybelline? Some of you do. Some of you are as old as I am or older. Mom's Maybelline told a story about the old gentleman. He was 97 years old. He was older than Representative Yates. And he married a 16-year-old girl. And unfortunately, he only lived for 3 days. Yep, he only lived for 3 days. But it took 2 undertakers a week to get the smile off his face. So you don't have to be sad when it's the last time. Let me challenge you today as I come to a close to love someone today, because it might be the last time. Tell somebody today that you love them. It would be great if you could tell somebody in this chamber today that you love them and you really, really mean it. But if that's too much of a burden for you, call your mother, call your daddy if they're living, call your wife. Call your husband, call your sister, call your children, call your grandchildren, and tell them, and mean it, that you love them. In my little church, I've got a guy by the name of Arnie Clark who is my worship leader. And I've been there 10 years, and it's taken me this long to say what he says. When we get ready to stand and greet one another, he said, now comes the time to stand and greet your neighbor, tell them you love them, God loves them, and it's wonderful to see you today. So would you please stand with me as we pray? Oh Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Lord, do something great in the heart of every man and woman in this chamber today. Let them feel your unmeasurable, undeniable love. And Lord, let them be a conduit to spread that love to someone else, that there may be smiles all around for your glory. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Amen. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Chair recognizes Chairman Chokas, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journals of the previous legislative day and have found them to be correct.
Chairman Chokas, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none. The journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, the 159th, move this following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period of unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions, first reading and reference of House bills and resolutions, second reading of bills and resolutions, morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 718 by Representative Waits, the 60th, Thomas the 56th, Dawkins, Hagler, the 91st, Scott, the 976th, Jones, the 53rd, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 1 of Title 42 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to inmate policies and penal institutions.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 795 by Representative Epps of the 144th, Green of the 151st, Tanner of the 9th, Hitchens of the 161st, Jasper of the 11th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 10 of Chapter 21 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Georgia Drivers Education Commission.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 796 by Representative Kirby of the 114th, Jaspers of the 11th, Williams of the 168th, Abrams of the 89th, Frye of the 118th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 30 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to handicapped persons.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 797 by Representative Kirby, the 114th, Gates the 73rd, Williams the 168th, Powell the 32nd, Raffensperger the 50th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 13 to Chapter 6 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to special provisions for certain vehicles.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 798 by Representative Chandler, the 105th, Teasley, the 37th, Stovall, the 74th, Dungeon, the 25th, Barr, the 103rd, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Part 7 of Article 7 of Chapter 3 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Hope scholarships and grants.
Higher education.
House Bill 799 by Representative Benton of the 31st. Bill being titled an act to amend an act to provide for a new charter for the city of Hutchinson.
Intragovernmental coordination.
House Bill 800 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, McCall of the 33rd, England of the 116th, Ballinger of the 23rd, Meadows of the 5th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 43-50-3 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to definitions of relative veterinarians and veterinary technicians.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 801 by Representative Jones, the 47th, Dickey, the 140th, Nimmer, the 178th, Rogers of the 10th, Burns of the 159th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to education.
Higher education.
House Bill 802 by Representative Teasley, the 37th, Tankersley, the 160th, Williams, the 119th, Earhart of the 36th, Tanner, the 9th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 48-7-27 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the computation of taxable net income.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 803 by Representative Waits, the 60th. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 15-11-2 and Title 19 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to definitions for the Juvenile Code and domestic relations.
Juvenile Justice.
House Bill 804 by Representative Mabra, the 63rd, Clanton of the 75th, Douglas 78th, Scott of the 76th, Stovall the 74th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 15-6-2 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the number of judges of superior courts.
Judiciary.
House Resolution 1093 by Representative Alexander, the 66th, Chamberlain, the 105th, Dempsey, the 13th, Tanner, the 9th, Gravely, the 67th, and others. Resolution creating the Joint Study Committee on Mental Illness Initiative.
Special Rules.
House Resolution 1112 by Representative Stover of the 71st, Allison the 8th, Spencer of the 108th, Kidd of the 145th, Turner of the 21st, and others. Resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution.
Governmental Affairs.
Unnumbered House Bill LC 287808. Representative Powell of the 32nd, Rice of the 95th, Stevens of the 164th, Harrell of the 106th, and others. An act to revise provisions relating to the regulation of transportation for hire.
Ways and Means.
Unnumbered House Bill LC 391143. Representative Tanner of the 9th, Tankersley the 160th, Epps of the 144th, and others. To amend Chapter 5 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to driver's licenses.
Motor Vehicles.
Unnumbered House Bill LC 440013. by Representative Stovall of the 74, Scotts the 76, member of the 63rd, Jordan the 77th. Act to amend an act creating one or more community improvement districts within Clayton County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Unnumbered House Bill LC 256560 by Representative Willard of the 51st, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, Oliver the 82nd, and others. Title and Act to amend Chapter 1 and Title 15 in the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relative to courts so as to create a new Judicial Qualifications Commission.
Judiciary.
Unnumbered House Resolution LC 256559. Representative Willard of the 51st, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, Oliver the 82nd, and others. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to abolish the existing Judicial Qualifications Commission.
Judiciary.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 784 by Representative Carson of the 46th, a bill relating to insurance. House Bill 785 by Representative Dudgeon of the 25th, a bill relating to local government. House Bill 786 by Representative Buckner of the 137th, a bill to amend an act providing a new charter for the city of Manchester. House Bill 787 by Representative Dixon of the 6th, a bill to provide for a homestead exemption from city of Varnell ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes. House Bill 788 by Representative Kidd of the 145th, a bill relating to general provisions of retirement and pensions. House Bill 789 by Representative Kidd of the 145th, a bill relating to general provisions applicable to counties only. House Bill 790 by Representative Raffensperger of the 50th, a bill relating to obstruction of public administration and related offenses. House Bill 791 by Representative Kidd of the 145th, a bill relating to ride-share network services and transportation referral services. House Bill 792 by Representative Brockway of the 102nd, a bill relating to carrying and possession of firearms. House Bill 793 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd, a bill relating to property exemption from taxation. House Bill 794 by Representative Bentley of the 139th, the bill to provide that the judge of the probate court of Macon County shall also serve as the chief magistrate judge of the magistrate court of Macon County. House Resolution 961 by Representative Waits of the 60th, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide by law for dedication of certain existing fees and assessments for the purpose of funding driver education and training courses in public schools with grades 9 through 12. House Resolution 1051 by Representative Dudgeon of the 25th, a resolution proposing the amendment to the Constitution so as to provide that General Assembly may provide by law for townships for the limited purposes of exercising the power of zoning and the regulation of land use development within the boundaries of such townships and provide for the funding and operation of such townships. House Resolution 1052 by Representative Chokas of the 138th, a resolution honoring the life of Mr. Thomas William Poole, dedicating a bridge in his memory. House Resolution 1053 by Representative Kendrick of the 93rd, resolution creating the House Study Committee on Technology Workforce Development. House Resolution 1054 by Representative Kendrick of the 93rd, resolution creating the House Study Committee on Policing and Mental Health. House Resolution 1091 by Representative Raffensperger of the 50th, resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution of the State of Georgia so as to provide that the state shall recognize the paramount right to life of all human beings and its persons at any stage of development. 3 second readers.
All right, this House will come to order. House will be at order. Chair recognizes Representative Ken Trell to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it's my honor today to introduce our Doctor of the Day, Dr. John Wright. He's a member of the medical staff of Blue Cross Blue Shield here in our state. His responsibilities include development of healthcare management strategies, including innovative benefit design, utilization of emerging technologies, and promotion of cost-effective quality medical care. Prior to joining Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia in 2008, Dr. Wright practiced as an emergency physician and as a manager of healthcare benefits for a Fortune 500 global manufacturing organization. He is certified by the American Board of Emergency Medicine and the American Board of Preventive Medicine. Dr. Wright received his bachelor's degree from Emory University, medical degree from the Medical College of Georgia, and a Master of Public Health degree from the Medical College of Wisconsin. Additionally, he holds a Master's of Business Administration degree from the University of Tennessee. He also attended postgraduate training at the University of Michigan Hospital. Dr. Wright and his wife Barbara reside in the city that I reside in Woodstock, Georgia. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Wright.
Thank you and good morning. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you for your service to this great state. Thank you.
We're going on now to morning orders. This House will come to order. Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Valencia Stovall.
One, right? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, fellow House members. I'm here again, personally inviting you all to come out to the Educate Georgia Summit, which will be held on Monday and Tuesday, January the 25th through the 26th. We have over 320 district leaders, educators, parents, and community leaders registered for these 2 full days of amazing sessions. We will conclude with the inaugural State of the Education Luncheon, with lunch will actually be catered by Atlanta Technical College Culinary Department. Our speakers will include Governor Deal, State Superintendent Richard Woods, Speaker Ralston, Alicia Thomas Morgan, Superintendent of Ivy Prep, Mark Sternberg, National K-12 Education Program Director with the Walton Family Foundation, Patricia Levis, the Chief Executive Officer with the Foundation for Excellence in Education, Lou Erst, Associate Superintendent of DOE, Charmaine Ward, Georgia Pacific Foundation, and other guests and sponsors that are included that you have on your flyer on your desk. So I would like to say again, I welcome you all to come on Monday and Tuesday. It is a free event, and please register so that we'll know if you want to stay for the luncheon and some of the working groups. Thank you so much.
Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Belton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Georgia is the 5th largest military population in America, with over 250,000 military jobs, believe it or not, reside in Georgia. The military is considering having a base realignment closure round next year, and I'm dropping a resolution to start a study committee to study how we can keep our bases in Georgia. If you'd like to sign that, please come to my desk. Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes for a morning order the gentleman from Liberty County, Representative Al Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to remind the Speaker that after Representative Nix, he got a little busy. I was going up there to give him a real bear hug. I mean literally. Show a little love. I have a bill this morning, members of the House, that is, again, military related, and it would require that all state licensure boards adopt and implement a process by which military spouses and transitioning service members may qualify for temporary licenses by endorsement, or expedited license to facilitate their entry into the civilian workforce. This gives you an opportunity to show some love for those who I know we love. I'll be at my desk, so I don't want to line up this morning because most of you are trying to get out of here, but I'd appreciate your signature to show our military folk that we want them to stay in Georgia when they get out the military. Thank you.
All right, we're about to recognize some very distinguished Georgians. Let me ask you one more time to please give attention and respect to our guests, to members at the podium, and members in the well. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 1050.
House Resolution 1050 by Representative Abrams of the 89th, a resolution commending Atlanta Metropolitan State College and recognizing January 22nd, 2016 as Atlanta Metropolitan State College Day at the Capitol and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Representative Abel Mabel Thomas for an invite resolution.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker and distinguished members of this body. It is an honor for me to be here today to introduce and to stand for Atlanta Metropolitan State College. Some of you may have had the opportunity as you came up on the second floor to visit, and I would encourage you to please, before you leave today, to go downstairs on the second floor. They have a lot of good displays and a lot of good information, and get some information to take so we can continue the great work of Dr. Gary Magaha, who has increased enrollment by 85% since he's come as president. What I would like to do first is to introduce the distinguished people that are with me. Okay, we will hear from our president in a moment, but I also want to introduce Corinza Amin, who's the SGA president. Okay, also Malik Burden, who's an academic scholar. Also Dean Vance Gray. And some of you know our good friend Larian Williams, who's vice president of Office of Institutional Advance, but you see him in the hallway talking with you about good things about education. Also, this particular resolution, Minority Leader Stacey Abrams had put in and was not able to be here and asked me to present it. But one thing I will say is I have Atlanta Metropolitan State story myself. I went to Georgia State, but while I was at Georgia State University with the SGA, we had a collaboration and a partnership with, it used to be called Atlanta Junior College, And so the president of the SGA and myself and the president of Georgia State University used to get together and do projects in the community, voter registration drives. And so I have a lot of fond memories of the college and the students. But one thing I want to say before I go any further, though, is Representative Keisha Waite is an alumni of Atlanta Metropolitan State College. So let's give my girl a hand. So what I want to start off is with a quote. Believe in yourself and do the best that you can with what you have, and use what you have to enhance the life of others. Dr. Gary McGaha has over 35 years of experience in the field of education, and during that time, he has used it to make a difference in the lives of those who's crossed his path. He describes himself as someone who is sensitive and cares about others. I want to make sure that at the end of my journey, I've made a difference. I try to make those differences by touching the lives of others, and I do that best with education. I'm committed to this endeavor because it's not a job, it's a mission. I've done this all of my life, and I plan on doing it the rest of my life. Education can really and truly make a difference that are important, and for many individuals, it becomes an equalizer. Initially, Dr. McGaha was invited to come to Atlanta by Dr. Lewis Sullivan, the founding president of Morehouse School of Medicine, to assist with the development of the medical school as his executive assistant. He did this for 10.5 years and enjoyed it immensely. He wanted to make a larger impact upon the public, so he left the medical school to come to Atlanta Metropolitan to chair the social science division. When he did this, he had no idea he would end up as president of Atlanta Metropolitan State College. Dr. McGaha used his position as a vehicle for meeting the needs of the Atlanta, and not only that, but to let people receive associate degrees, but eventually a bachelor's degree. Mr. Speaker, I am so honored to be here to make this presentation, and at this time, Speaker, if it's okay, I would like to ask Dr. McGaha to make some remarks to the public. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Representative Thomas. I am delighted to be with you today, and I want to thank you for the wonderful leadership that you provide for the great state of Georgia and for the support that you give to Atlanta Metropolitan State College. This is our day at the Capitol, and I want to just briefly tell you that Atlanta Metropolitan is making a tremendous difference. We are an impact and an opportunity school, and we're doing some things like no one else. 85% of our students happen to be those who we know are from this community, and when we look at the total numbers, we find that 95% of the students who attend Atlanta Metropolitan are Georgia residents. That makes them a tremendous impact school, and they're an opportunity school because they take the education, the training, and the job skills we provide back to their community. We are a high-quality school and a tremendous investment for the citizens of this state and for your support. We look at the fact that we are open 7 days a week, and we have colleges that began at 6 o'clock in the morning and will open until 10:45 at night, Monday through Friday, all day Saturday and Sunday afternoon, because we certainly love the Lord, from 2 until 6. But we make an immense difference. When you look at the university system, we are one of 11 schools in the access sector. 70% of our students come from the Atlanta public school system. But of the 11 schools in our sector, we have the second highest graduation rate in the state of Georgia for that sector. And it's because of what we do at the college. We're high quality, low cost, we care, we make a difference, and we'd love to continue to expand those differences with your support. So again, thank you for what you do for Atlanta Metropolitan State College. We enjoy being here with you, and we certainly hope you won't forget about us as you see that bill talking about something for us in particular. Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker.
I'm going to introduce. What I would like to do is I just see members of the Metropolitan State College just came into the, will you please stand? Will you please stand? And let's welcome them. These are some of the staff support, some of the students, and we're just so glad that they're here with us. We thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions. The clerk will read.
Commemorating the 150th anniversary of the mustering out of the 136th and 138th Regiments of the United States Colored Infantry. Recognizing February 3rd, 2016 as Albany-Doherty County Day at the State Capitol and commending the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce. Recognizing the Watkinsville Garden Club on the occasion of its 75th anniversary. Recognizing and commending Superior Court Judge Baldwin on the occasion of his retirement. Recognizing February 3rd, 2016 as High Performance Healthy Schools Day at the Capitol. Honoring the life and memory of Mrs. Winnie Lou Bramlett Talent. Commending Corporal Jason Roberson of the Georgia Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement Division on receiving the 2015 Butch Potts Boating Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award. Commending Corporal Greg Wade of the Georgia Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement Division on being named the 2015 Conservation Officer of the Year. Honoring the life and memory of Mrs. Eva Farrell. Honoring the life and memory of Mr. Charles Edward Whalen, Jr. Honoring the life and memory of Mr. Jack Estes. Honoring the life and memory of Miss Edna Grizzle Wilson. Honoring the life and memory of Mr. Terry Wayne Grindle. Honoring the life and memory of Mrs. Miranda Duncan Parks. Honoring the life and memory of Mr. Lewis Gordon Sawyer. Honoring the life and memory of Mr. James Mark DeLong, Sr. Honoring the life and memory of Mrs. Modry Grogan Bowers. Honoring the life and memory of Dr. Charles Neal Kelly. Honoring the life and memory of Michael Joseph Egan. Recognizing Leadership Dawson, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. If I could have your attention, please. If I could have your attention, please. We have one item of business that we will be ready to take up in about 2 to 3 minutes that I think will be of interest to you. The second and final adjournment resolution for the 2016 session. So we'll get hard copies of that here shortly, and then the majority leader will explain the motion. We're still trying to expedite business. I'm going to ask you to stay close because many members need to leave and head home. If you have pages here today, we're lining them up at the rostrum now for page photographs. So we're not going to come looking for you. If you have a page here, we're going to take their picture with or without you. We'll be at ease for about 3 minutes. Clerk will read the caption. Just a moment. This House will come back to order. If you're within the chamber walls, please take your seats and suspend your meetings and conversations. If they're of dire importance, then take them outside. House will be in order. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 1114, House Resolution 1114.
A resolution by Representative Burns, the 159th, relative to meetings and adjournment of the General Assembly and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House to explain the resolution.
Well, good morning. I know this stands between us and headed home, so you have a printed copy of a resolution that takes us through day 40. We're pretty proud of this. I would, while you're looking, and I'll be glad to answer any questions in just a second, I would certainly thank the Leader Calstert and the leadership in the Senate, but I would especially thank our appropriations chairman on both sides in the Senate, Senator Hill and Chairman England, who have already worked pretty hard on moving forward with the budget, and that work continues. Not only their work, but all of our work as we work with appropriations here in the House, and of course that's what we're here. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're going to do, and that's what's to a point is dictating our schedule. So I would be glad to answer any concerns in just a second. I would tell you that it's a very important day, Valentine's Day, and so we've been very respectful of our needs to be with our loved ones on Valentine's Day, as you can see in February. I would call your attention to the March part of the schedule. It is, but it gives us a couple of days to go out and buy our candy and flowers right there. It takes you a couple of days, I know, to get home and do that. You have to buy a lot of flowers and a lot of candy to make it good at your house. The day 30 is on the 29th of February, as you see, and we will, that is a Monday. We've done that in the past, and I think that will work out fine for us. We will, then the SEC primary, the presidential primary, is on Tuesday, and we're out that day, as you see. The other important days that work around giving us time to make sure we have do the appropriate consultations on our bills and have the time to make sure we do that is pretty self-explanatory. We're out on the 17th and 18th, and then back in for day 39 on the 22nd, with a day out prior to day 39, and then a day out on the 23rd for preparation for the day we're all looking for, day 40. So that's my explanation. Shuttle diplomacy is alive and well. It was a little bit cheaper here, just one floor to the other to make it work. But again, we appreciate the cooperation with the Senate. If there's a question, I'll be glad to try to answer it. Mr. Speaker, I would yield.
You have a question. Do you care to yield?
Yes, sir. I'll be glad to.
Chair recognizes Representative Dukes to your left for a question.
Thank you.
About the
Speaker.
schedule.
Yes. While I truly appreciate the work that the leadership of both the House and the Senate has done to come up with this resolution, I am concerned, though, as to we are out Wednesday, March the 16th. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Is it not true that we are out Wednesday, March the 16th, and we don't return until Tuesday, March the 22nd?
We are in on Wednesday, March the 16th.
Yes.
Day 38. Yes, sir.
Right. And then we don't return until almost like a week later. Was it?
There are conference committees that will be meeting, have time to work on some issues, and that just gives us plenty of time. And certainly there's that little event in Savannah that all the Irish like to participate
Economic
in.
development.
I think that's the proper term. Thank you.
I see that there is a method to the madness.
And there's
you very
still
much.
corn produced in Georgia. Yes, there is.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
If the representative has a problem with being out one or two of those days, I want to let you take it up with Chairman Stevens over here. He's not here, but, or maybe other Chairman Stevens, Gordon, and others. Is it not true? May I ask a question as the gentleman yield?
I would yield, yes, sir.
Is it not true that in the discussions that that the Speaker's office will issue a notice directing that 2 days that we're off actually be committee days? And I'm asking the committees to utilize those days. Those being Wednesday, March 9th will be designated as a committee day, and Monday, March 21.
You are correct, Mr. Speaker, and we appreciate you making time for the committees to do their work. And Mr. Speaker, I also left out one very important week, of course. I think that's qualifying week, something like that, on the 7th through the 11th. And as you just heard, we will be in session those 4 of those days, and out working very hard here on committee day on the 9th. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
He has no further questions. Do you yield?
And would ask that this body favorably consider this schedule and that we vote to pass out House Resolution 1114. Thank you. I yield the well.
The chair wants to add its commendation. I don't know that I've ever been in this Capitol when on Legislative Day 8 we passed an adjournment resolution that takes us all the way to the end. Is that accurate, Chairman Smyrie? Great piece of work. Great piece of work. All those in favor of the adoption of House Resolution 1114 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the adoption of House Resolution 1114, the ayes are 151, the nays are 0. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. For what purpose does the majority leader rise?
Mr. Speaker, I would move that we immediately transmit House Resolution 1114 to the Senate.
Majority Leader has moved that House Resolution 1114 be immediately transmitted to the State Senate. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is on its way. If you have signed up for an announcement, we're going to go to those at this time. If you have an announcement, Chair recognizes Representative Bentley for an announcement, and she's joined by Chairman Smyrie and Representative Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And for those members that don't know who I am, I'm Patty Bentley from House District 139, which is the home of the Georgia Strawberry Festival. So please mark your calendars for April for the Georgia Strawberry Festival. But we stand this morning to invite all of you to Fort Valley State University Day at the state capitol next Tuesday. Okay. Now, Wildcats will be in the house next Tuesday, and we ask everyone to please wear your blue and gold on next Tuesday. Our dean is to chair the foundation board there, and Representative Prince, alumni of Fort Valley State University. So we ask you for your support on next Tuesday. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dempsey for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. The 26th is going to be a very busy day at our Capitol with much going on. There will also be an event. The Georgia Life Alliance will host Voice for the Voiceless event. You have notice on your desk that I hope you'll read, and there's lunch from 12 to 1 and 1 to 3 an exhibit. I hope that you will take time to stop by and meet some of the advocates that will be here for this organization. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair wants to mention that between now and when we return, 2 members will be celebrating birthdays. Tomorrow, January 23rd, will be the birthday of the chairman of the Regulated Industries Committee, Chairman Howard Maxwell. And tomorrow will be the birthday of the gentleman from the 21st House District, Representative Turner. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House stand adjourned until Monday, January 25th, 2016 at 10 a.m.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be adjourned until Monday, January 25 at 10 o'clock a.m. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and this House is adjourned until Monday at 10 a.m.